So a California businessman who prosecutors say paid one of the largest bribes in the college admissions scandal, learning his fate before a judge today. And Fox News' Molly Loughlin outside the courthouse in Boston with the latest from there. Molly.
Hi, Connell. Well, Steven Sempervivo became the third parent to be sentenced for his admitted guilt in the college admissions scandal. 4 months in prison. He was very contrite before the judge today, apologizing to the students, the college-bound students, their parents, acknowledging the terrible example that he set, and breaking down in tears as he apologized to his wife, son, and others. The government has slammed Sempervivo for pulling his son into the scheme, having him submit essays featuring fake credentials and emails to the corrupt tennis coach who was in on the plan to help him get into Georgetown University. Judge Irina Talwani agreed that involving the teenager did add to the serious nature of the crime. Prosecutors painted Sempervivo as remorseless in court today, noting that just days after entering his plea, he sued Georgetown to stop them from expelling his son, trying to retain the, quote, fruits of his fraud. In court docs, they write, it meets the classic definition of chutzpah. Prosecutors also argued that Sempervivo sees himself as a victim. One member of his legal team argues that is true, that while Sempervivo acknowledges his guilt and role as a co-conspirator, he was also victimized by the ringleader of the scheme, Rick Singer.
Oh, he's a classic extortionist. I think he could teach a class in 101 on how to extort people. I mean, he found these people's vulnerability.
The same judge that sentenced Sempervivo gave Felicity Huffman 2 weeks in prison, and Devin Sloan, another rich defendant who faked water polo pictures to get his son into USC, 4 months behind bars at his sentencing on Tuesday. Now, Huffman, Sloan, and now Sempervivo have all been given dates to self-report to prison. They all happen to be before the end of the year. More parents are slated for sentencing in the weeks ahead, and it's worth noting that others who did not choose to plead guilty are inching closer to trial, including the actress Lori Loughlin. Connell?
All right, Molly Loughlin in Boston for us. Susan.
Okay, let's get some reaction. Vinoo, a criminal defense attorney and former prosecutor, joins us. So you just heard Molly there. Sempervivo getting 4 months. He paid $400,000 to get his kid into Georgetown. So what does this mean for Lori Loughlin, who paid $500,000?
Well, Lori Loughlin's case is very different than Sempervivo's. All the government has, or at least put forth so far in the indictment against Lori Loughlin, is that she was CC'd on a couple of emails from Singer to her husband. And then there's one recorded call where Singer calls her and says, I took care of it, and she says, uh-huh.
But these are very serious charges,
not
though.
enough.
We're talking about money laundering, conspiracy to commit fraud. We had Felicity Huffman with 14 days in prison for only mail fraud. So I think these charges are much more severe, don't you think?
Look, the charges are the charges, and the government is known to pile on. Look, Felicity Huffman got 14 months. This was after the U.S. government, the U.S. Attorney's Office in Boston, had touted this as a big scandal. They would call it Operation Varsity Blues, but after Huffman's sentencing, they were the ones feeling the blues. These guys are overhyping this case. This is really a civil matter between these parents and the universities. The U.S. government should not have been involved.
Are you saying then that Lori Loughlin is not going to get any jail time?
I think Lori Loughlin is going to take this all the way and beat this case at trial. And even if she's convicted, this is the important thing that people don't understand. This is based on a very flimsy legal theory. It's called honest services fraud. It's one of the most vague legal theories out there. So they have the power to fight this and go forward. And maybe even if they initially lose, which I don't think they will, because I don't think they have a strong case against her, she's going to potentially beat this on appeal.
35 parents have been charged. 2 parents have been sentenced to prison already. 15 parents pleading guilty. 19 parents are fighting the charges. And you're telling me that Lori Loughlin is going to beat these charges? I mean, the odds are against her.
No. Based on what the government has alleged in their indictment, all they said is that she said, uh-huh. I don't think uh-huh is enough to convict anybody. I mean,
saying that, money laundering, getting them on tape, but also getting, by the way, I would say an account from the actual perpetrator of this ring. I think that actually there's a lot of mounting evidence against her.
I don't think it's going to be strong enough, and I think she's in for the long fight, and I wish her well.
Well, okay, but I mean, looking at these odds, most of these parents have been found guilty and have been sentenced. So you're saying
you're looking at the U.S. government saying that these people are going to face decades in prison.
I'm saying that multiple parents have already pleaded guilty.
Right.
19 out of 35 are trying to fight this, and the ones that we have actually covered have been sentenced. So you're saying
for a couple of months for a case that they said was going to be decades. So the U.S. Attorney's Office does not look good right now.
compared to everybody else. Is that
I think
what you're
Lori
saying?
Loughlin, based on the facts the government's put forth, now if they have more stuff, that's different. But based on what they've put forth so far, they don't have a case against her.
Well, a lot of people disagree with you. So I guess we'll
They
see.
do.
Okay, Vinoo, thank you so much.
That was interesting back and forth there. All right.